15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Let's go. Feeling this beat right now. It's kind of nice. How you guys doing? Black Lives Matter put out a little thing we all need to live by. In order to live by, strive to be. All right, let's get into this. Black Lives Matter just put this out. Hot off the press. Black Lives Matter 7 demands. Convict and ban Trump from future political office. They hate him. Get that Trumpy out of here, they say. We are joining Ilhan Omar and Representative Aya Presley and Cori Bush, Jamal Bowman, what a list, and others who are demanding Trump be immediately convicted in the United States Senate. Trump must also be banned from holding elected office in the future. Call your members of Congress, blah, blah, blah. So they want Trump out forever. What does that have to do with Black Lives Matter? Exactly. Once again, this organization isn't about black lives. It's honestly not. They're multimillionaire co-owners, and you're not allowed to say that stuff, or else you get a little nix. Expel Republican number 2. Expel Republican members of Congress who attempted to overturn the election and incited a white supremacist attack. Despite there being multi-race and genders in the attack, and nobody was spouting white supremacist things at the Capitol 6 riots, we're still hanging on to this issue. That one day that produced one death, Ashley Abbott, and we still don't know the officer's name who shot her or is not being investigated, is the only actual death that happened because of the riot. All the other ones were because of health reasons that we later found out, which is always the case, isn't it? When it doesn't fit the narrative, you don't get the information until way later when it doesn't matter anymore and your emotional strings are already tied, therefore your bias is already set in stone forever. So they want to expel Republican members of Congress who attempted to overturn the election and cite white supremacists. I like that, white supremacist attack. That's just ridiculous. This whole notion that white supremacy is this huge problem in America is such a false narrative that it's just, even the people that say it know it's stupid. But they're tugging on the heartstrings and they actually believe it. It's honestly unbelievable to me. They say more than half of the Republican representatives and multiple senators stoked Trump's conspiracy theories and encouraged the white supremacists to take action to overturn the election. We're supporting Cori Bush's resolution to expel them from Congress for their dangerous and traitorous actions. We also support the steps to bar them from seeking another office. Interesting that you don't... What about the riots that destroyed black communities everywhere over all summer long? You don't care about that. In fact, you help get those people out of jail, despite the massive destruction to the black communities, which I thought you guys were all cared about that. No, you don't, because it's all a lie, and it's all just to tug on people's heartstrings to make it seem like a problem is actually there when it's not there. Therefore, you can remain in power. Therefore, the politicians have something to run on other than their crappy agenda. Number 3, launch a full investigation into the ties between white supremacy and the Capitol Police, law enforcement, and the military. That's right. There it is again. Once again, going after the Capitol Police, law enforcement, and military. Get those white supremacists out of there. If you have, and what's white supremacist to them? If you voted for Donald Trump, that is what a white supremacist looks and feels like to them. So does it align with the actual definition of white supremacy? Absolutely not. And again, you can't think logically about this stuff. If you try to, you will go absolutely insane. They go on, they espouse more. The Capitol was able to be breached and overrun by white supremacists attempting to disrupt a political process that is fundamental to our democracy. Very interesting that you felt that way. What about when Donald Trump was in office? We know that the police departments have been a safe haven for white supremacists to hide behind the badge. Really? In a line? That's right. The fact that there's tons of black officers, those people are like hidden and secretive white supremacists. They're everywhere. You just can't feel them, and you don't know what they look like or sound like because our definition of white supremacy is fluid. They said because the badge was created for that purpose, which is also a lie. We know off-duty cops and military, this narrative that cops were created just to round up slaves is such a stupid lie. But, yes, it was used for that in some areas, and which is totally wrong and bad, but that's not the only purpose. That's not the sole purpose. We also know off-duty cops and military were among the mob at the Capitol on January 6th. Yes, because guess what? Despite your intentions to believe that everyone is collective and groupthink, there's individuals everywhere who think differently than you. Just like there are black conservatives who disagree with Black Lives Matter. Amazing. Those aren't black people. Those are people like Tim Scott. What do we call him again? What racist thing do we call? God, it's just unbelievable. We also know off-duty cops and military were among the mob at the Capitol on January 6 riots. Guilty parties need to be held accountable and fired. We are supporting Representative Jamal Bowman's co-op act to investigate these connections. What an incredible waste of time. But I can't think of anything better for a liberal Democratic politician than to spend their entire time trying to figure out the ties between the Capitol 6 riots, white supremacy, law enforcement, and military. Take your time. Take it nice and slow. We need more ads like the CIA ad that just put out. We don't need these white people in the military voting for Trump. And they're white supremacy. They're saying things like, pull yourself up by the bootstraps and get a job and, be an individual and think for yourself. Those are white supremacy ideas. Show up to work on time. Number 4, permanently ban Trump from all digital platforms. Yay. If nothing says I'm a child and can't have a decent argument than just banning people and calling speech hate speech. Shut it down, because if we can't just have an honest and normal conversation among each other and just say, hey, if you're an actual white supremacist, let's have a conversation and find out if you actually are. Because the majority of the time the answer is no. I've never met a white supremacist, and I'm still waiting for that day. I've met a lot of Trump supporters. Hey, you met Trump supporters and you haven't met white supremacists. Does that mean you're an idiot? Number 4, Trump has always used his digital media platforms recklessly. I would agree with that. He's a little over the top, but at the same time, I actually love it. And irresponsibly to spread lies. Now you're going down the wrong path. And disinformation. Some of it is just opinion. Now, I've never seen a skinny person drink Diet Coke. I don't remember that one. That was the best one. Now it is clearer than ever that his digital media is also used to incite violence and promote its continuation. He must be stopped from encouraging his mob. Yes, his mob just waiting at the wings. Donald Trump, you say the thing and we will jump. And further endangering our communities even after inauguration. Yes, till this day, you see all these Trump supporters running around and burning cities and taking out Targets, and Target's having to put up murals for all these white Trump supporters. It's absolutely disgusting. Number 5, defund the police. We're back to that. It's the most... defunding the police is the most elitist attitude I've ever heard in my life. It's a perfect example of showing how rich you are. We don't need the police. I live in a nice area. I don't see the need for police. I've never seen the need for police. I don't know what a murder looks like, but I live in my gated community and I have my nice security officer that has weapons on him, but he's been trained. It's different. And I pay for him to have it, but you can't have guns and you can't have cops. but I'll have my security guard. It's different. Okay? I don't see the reason for police. It's the stupidest argument in the world. You know, getting rid of police, all these police officers that are quitting and getting rid of police, who does it hurt the most? Poor communities. So, apparently they don't care. They don't care about the poor communities, and it's very obvious by the fact that their co-creators, the co-founders are multimillionaires, and their homes are in any area that, represents their community, if you will. The police that met with Black Lives Matter protesters this summer with assault rifles, tear gas, and military-grade protective gear were the same police that on Wednesday met white supremacists with patience and the benefit of the doubt. Yes, I can't stand when these cops do the benefit of the doubt. It's really annoying. Just like that one Hispanic cop in LA that pulled over that teacher who was doing nothing. And she was like, you'll never be white. You'll always be Mexican. Like, wow. Like, give her the benefit of the doubt. Going as far as to pose for selfies with rioters. That was really dumb. The contrast was jarring, but not for black people. Yes, speak for all of them, because they all speak and think the same. And if they think differently, they'll call you a racist slogan. We have always known who the police truly protect and serve in D.C. Yes. Who do they protect and serve? It's those rich people. Because I serve in D.C. and has the most police per capita in the country. Why? Because it's incredibly dangerous. Why do you think there's more cops in the city? Because it's dangerous. Supply and demand, if you will. But now they're trying to hire. They're going out and pulling out all these initiatives to get more cops out there. Because why? They're quitting. And you can't have that. Number 6. Don't let the coup be used as an excuse to crack down on our movement. In response, politicians have already introduced the Domestic Terrorism Prevention Act of 2021. We have seen this playbook before. These laws are used to target black and brown communities for heightened surveillance. Oh my God. Republicans are already busy trying to create an equivalence between the mob on January 6th and our Freedom Summer. The Freedom Summer that killed way more people than that January 6th white supremacist mob. We don't need domestic terrorism laws, we don't need new domestic terrorism laws, facial recognition, or any other police power for the state. I agree with that. Our government should protect righteous protests and stay focused on the real issue. That's right. If what you're doing has a basis of righteousness, you can do whatever you want. You can kill whoever you want, as long as it's righteous. Focus on the real issue is rooting out white supremacy. This is such a stupid lie. Let's keep going. There are enough laws, resources, and intelligence, but they were not used to stop co-op. Our elected officials must uncover why. Yes, why were all these angry people? Why did they not want an old white guy Biden in office? It's unbelievable. It's not like he's doing a great job right now. Number 7, Pass the Breathe Act. The police were born out of slave patrols, which is a lie. We cannot reform an institution built upon white supremacy. Interesting. We need a new radical approach to public safety and community investment. Here's what's going to, these people have all these radical ideas, but they'll never do any of the jobs that they propose because they know it's lunacy. Everything liberals do, it's always like it feels good saying and it feels good coming out of your mouth and it sounds like a great idea, but then when you look at it, you go, wow, there's a lot of drawbacks to this, and it's actually the drawbacks overwhelm the idea of it in the first place. But liberals don't see any negatives to anything they do. They just see it as positives because it's very emotionally charged. But you can't say that. President Biden has already drawn out the Breathe Act in his executive actions, which he's doing a great job with his executive actions. What did he call himself? Dictator? for racial equity screens in federal programs, investing in environmental justice. There it is. You got to throw it in. You can't just have a company or a nonprofit be about one cause. You have to align with it all. It's also about environmental justice. You got to have your culture climate, your climate change in there. Environmental justice at historic levels and engaging with system-impacted communities. The BREATHE Act paints a vision of a world where Black Lives Matter, what they're trying to say more, through investments in housing, education, health, and environmental justice. Throwing money at a situation can help, but will it help in the long run is always the answer I have for that. I don't see how these things are actually going to help the black communities. I just see it as a political play to continue the narrative that white supremacy is the real issue and must be rooted out. Liberals, and to be fair, all politicians do this in some capacity. They create this narrative that is supposed to psych you up, get you heightened, so that it plays on your emotions, so you start to freak out a little bit, and then you align with your party. You align with whatever party fits that, and so you create this anger and frustration, which creates a base in order for you to go vote. So I don't see anything good that can come from this. The things that need to be changed in these communities are things you're not supposed to talk about and things you can't talk about. It's not white supremacy bringing you down. And the fact that all these people making these demands don't live in these communities and they are just trying to ride off the curtails of other elected officials is really sad to me. And I think it's going to do nothing but divide us farther apart. And I think that's what they want. Because with division, you don't have unity. And without unity, you need a base. And as Biden said, you need the two-party system. So you need two parties going against each other. And you need them riled up for when the election comes. Again, Black Lives Matter. Put this out in order for all of us to hear and see. I hope you guys let me know your thoughts about it. Feel free to email me at derekosheshow@gmail.com or contact me on any social media platform. Be happy to talk with you. And again, if you think I'm wrong, fantastic. Let me know how you think I'm wrong. If you want to engage in a conversation, I would love to have a conversation about this kind of stuff because I think it's important to not be afraid to talk about these issues. Everyone just punches down or punches up, and it's just, and I'd rather just have a conversation about what's the real issues and how to address it, as opposed to just like, these people are stupid, here's why it's stupid. I do think a lot of the foundation of Black Lives Matter and who created it and some of their ideologies, like wanting to dismantle the unit of the family and stuff like that, which they later got rid of, was a huge indication of what these people are about. It's about being disruptive. It's about taking down the system. And it's not about repairing the system or making it better. That's what it's always about. Take out the system because we need communism. We need socialism because it's worked every single time. Have a fantastic day, guys. Hope you guys be sure to share this on every single social media platform.